You kidding me? Oh my God. You kidding me? This is our president.
It's just a coincidence that Joan Rivers comes out and says that Michelle Obama is a tranny, and then she just happens to be dead.
Right. Like 2 weeks later.
And if you look
Surely coincidental.
And there were 3 gay guys from Obama's church in Chicago who they said he was on down low with, who just happened to be killed. You know what? Our government was so far gone, I can see why people were latching on for anybody who said hope and change. Too bad they didn't realize that what he meant by hope and change is what we're getting. But I
didn't realize it. I'll be honest. I was duped. I mean, I didn't think hope and change meant what the things he's doing today. I never envisioned it.
But I mean, imagine this. I mean, think about this. This is the president of the United States, and we're talking about him being a homosexual, his wife a transvestite man, being a drug user, and possibly a Sunni Muslim who is collaborating with Saudi Arabia to destroy this country.
The fact that it's even in the realm of the conversation about the President of the United States is baffling and stifling and very disturbing.
It's insane. And we're wasting energy on this garbage instead of trying to figure out, well, what is the purpose of high school? Is the purpose of high school to create consumers who can go and spend $250,000 on college and go into debt for the rest of their lives?
Excellent point, Dave. I totally agree, amigo. I mean, what is the purpose of...
Do we even need schools anymore?
We need to step back. What is the purpose of the basics of why this country was founded in the Constitution? When we say now, life, liberty, in the pursuit of happiness, what are those principles entrenched in? The concept of the financial debt that these guys are under now, from undergrad, not from a doctorate program.
That's why they're not buying homes.
They got $100,000 in debt from a freaking undergrad degree. It's going to pay them $30,000 a year when they get out, maybe $40 if they're lucky. You look at the debt of the country, for example, the $17 trillion, and it's growing. The interest rates that are artificially low, the money that they keep printing, and they just tell everybody to go out, consume. What is it? 70% of our GNP is consumer-based, Dave? In other words, you and me just spending friggin' money. That's the bulk of it, right?
What else is there in this country?
Exactly, because we don't produce shit anymore.
You know, in England,
and we consume more than we produce.
Yeah, in England, and probably coming soon in the United States. I told you they now include flipping hamburgers as manufacturing in this country.
Yeah, you told me that.
And in England, they include prostitution and drug use now.
You're kidding me. It's part of the GDP.
That's how they boost their numbers.
So they're including blood within the gross domestic product. You've got to be kidding me.
Well, but it allows them to say that growth is continuing.
Oh, there's growth going on.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, just take this blue. Take this blue pill.
I mean, really? Well, you know what? I mean, when you factor in Viagra use and Cialis, you got to buy the pills, then you got to take them, and then you've got to pay for the services. So I guess that is adding to the economy.
Service industry.
Yeah. So much for the moral and ethical degradation factor, and that families are falling apart because of stuff like that. But hey, we can pump a few more bucks into the GDP line items.
Yeah, and here we are. We have banks paying 0.1%.
Yeah.
Right, and I mean, now they're saying insurance companies and pension funds are going to start going bankrupt because they can't get an ROI to justify these payments. So now you're going to have people losing their pensions and their insurance plans and all that type of thing that they were counting on because there's no normal rate of return.
That's true. There is no normal rate of return.
I mean, if you had $100,000 in cash, Dan, that you didn't have an immediate need for, what would you do with it today?
Where do you park it? Yeah. No, it's true. Where do you put a savings account, a CD, a money market account? Is 0.0001%.
Yeah, what's that going to earn you in a year? It's going to earn you like $100.
Yeah, on 100,000. effing joke. You should
Imagine
be getting you should be getting 5-6% interest at least. Remember the early to mid '80s, you could get 10-15% interest on a friggin'
but the retirement plans use 6% as their ROI calculation as an average.
Right.
People would kill for 6% today.
Oh yeah, 6%.
With no risk. 6% with no risk.
Yeah, you're a superstar.
I'd take that all day long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if you want no risk, now in Europe, this is how you know it's coming to this country, because it always starts
negative
over there.
Interest rates.
Now they're like, hey, you have $100,000, you pay us $100 to keep it.
Oh my God.
Why would you do that? And then now that they're changing the verbiage, they're now saying they're not calling it depositor anymore. They're calling it creditor. So when a bank fails, guess who gets shafted? The creditors. You have to go in line. So you're in line behind anybody else who's going to get their money before you. So that's a no-go. The banks are a no-go.
The guardsmen will tell them to stand down. They'll have nothing left, and you'll be like, you, and then the bullets will fly. That's what will happen. I'm telling you.
Dan,
because if I was at that point myself and had nothing to lose, and I lost my temper, okay, and I had someone telling me to stand down after my government did that to me, well, who knows what would happen?
Well, the cops only know force. That's it.
Yeah, well,
they're not negotiating.
Yeah, they'll beat you over the head or shoot you, but some people will say, then I'll go out fighting and shoot me. Good, that's fine. I'm going to hurt somebody before I go out.
Well, you know, I sent you a link to a
great country, right?
Well, I think that's why you see so many people leaving.
That or you see probably there's more militias now in this country too. You know, that we used to laugh at the survivalists and these militia people and call them clowns. They're the ones that are going to be the most prepared if this shit hit the fan.
Yeah, I told you. I mean, I'm not preparing for that just because.
But there are people prepared at that level. They know how to hunt, can live off the land.
Yeah.
They got firearms. They don't need the grid bull. They don't need electricity. They're good to go. There is a portion of the population like that. We laugh at them, but if the shit hits the fan, those are the people that you're going to run to, not the lawyer from New York University down the street who can't even plunge his own toilet. Okay? Yeah, or the farmer. You're going to run to the farmer, the guy that knows how to grow crops that we've put off to the side the last 50 years and made fun of, who's an idiot. But it's that idiot that keeps us alive, that knows how to milk the cow and everything else.
Well, you know, when I was down in Belize. Yeah, it was Belize. And they had signs down there that said, come work on the farm, and you get to stay here for free, basically. And it's kind of comical, you know, you go down there for a vacation where you're going to work on a farm. But when you consider that 1%... You
learn some skills.
Well, 100 years ago, well, more than 100 now, 150 years ago, 80% of Americans were working on farms, and today it's 1%, 2%?
90%. It was 90% only around 100 years ago, 110 years ago. Yeah. Look, the point is, that is knowledge, okay? And that's how the human race was able to prosper and survive. And this is knowledge that we now put down, a lot of us, and make fun of. But, you know, it's that basic knowledge that keeps the lawyer or the guy with the cell phone driving his Beamer alive. Okay? Because take food away from them for about 3 days, and let's see how the cell phone and the Beamer does you, or your big New York apartment, right? Let's see after a week of no food how you feeling.
People do not believe it's going to get that bad. I'm telling you right now. If people really believe
it's going to get that bad either.
Really believed it was going to get that bad, then they'd obviously be taking certain actions.
There's a segment of the population that is taking those actions, Dave. There absolutely is, without a doubt. We refer to them as, I told you, survivalists or militia people. but
Yeah,
they
well,
exist,
yeah,
and there's a lot
others,
more of them.
Yeah, and there's others called preppers.
Yeah, yeah. It's a sizable slice of the population.
Well,
Those are the ones.
here's the thing: is for example, like you hear people buying silver and gold, right, or metals of some kind, but have people taken steps to procure things that they'll actually need?
Yeah, like food and water.
Right. I mean, those are the obvious essentials: shelter, food, and that's why I've been traveling the way I've done, Dan. And I was talking to somebody today, and they're like, and I told them that, and they're like, well, have you identified one that's as good as the United States? And the United States is good right now, but this is the other thing when we were talking about how crazy it is that people could even believe these things about our president and that they could potentially be true. Well, here we are talking about, like my father was telling me that, back when, before I was born was the Cuban Missile Crisis, right?
Yeah, early 60s.
Right, and him and my mother were getting scared because all these people were digging these shelters and putting these shelters
in the backyard.
Yeah, and I mean, not that those shelters would have helped them, but I'm like, is that what we're doing? Is today what we're doing the modern version of building a shelter?
To an extent, yeah. Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I think the world is right now far more dangerous than it was then, and far more in the powder keg stage. You've got so many places around the world, particularly